Order of the Planning Commission for the City of Columbus. If we could have everybody stand and pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done by everybody.
Practice.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda, approval of the meeting agenda, and also approval of the December 3rd Planning Commission meeting minutes.
This is Kim. I'd like to
Approve the consent
approve
agenda.
approve the motion for the consent agenda.
This is Mike, second.
Call for a vote.
Kim, aye?
Mike, aye.
Andy, aye.
Robin, aye. Okay. Okay, next we have our public forum. Anybody wishing to come forward and speak on anything that is not about on tonight's meeting, please come forward. Could have you take a seat at the table and please,
Looks like some trouble.
please remember to speak into the microphone and your name and address, please.
My name is Ron Hanegraaff. I'm the mayor of the city of Columbus, and I don't know if it's the first time you ever had anybody at the open forum, but I'm here tonight only to thank you all on the Planning Commission for volunteering. It's a great asset in our community to have you here 24 nights a year and to put in all the dedication that you put in researching all these issues that come up. If it wasn't your recommendations that the council takes a big look at all the time, we'd be doing what you're doing. So it's nice to have 10 sets of eyes looking at every issue. So you guys are the first 5, other than our assistant planner, looking it over, giving her recommendations or whatever. You guys make a recommendation, and we look at it very clearly, and we might have a few issues. But if you wonder why we come once in a while, you'll see a council member here, it's because sometimes we like to listen to the public themselves because we won't see them again. And we rarely see you guys at all. We kind of opposite Wednesdays and stuff like that. But I really want to thank you. And we got another member, hopefully next Monday at our council meeting, that'll be selected to fill the 5th spot up here. So thank you very much, and
Thank you, Ron.
have a good year.
You too.
You too.
Anybody else wish to come forward? Anybody online? All right, then. We're going to close the public open forum and open our public hearing on the Brown Beagle CUP. So if I could have the representatives for the Brown Beagle Industrial Park come forward and have a seat at the chair, give your name, address, and make sure you speak into the microphone so we can all hear.
Hi, I'm John Sawyer. I'm the owner of Brown Beagle, and I'm running the entire project. I live in North Oaks.
Okay, thank you. Eleanor, would you read the notices published in the Forest Lake Times?
Of course. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the City of Columbus Planning Commission on Wednesday, December 17th, 2025 at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter as parties may be heard. The hearing will be conducted in person and by interactive technology at Columbus City Hall, located at 16319 Kettle River Boulevard, Minnesota, to consider a request for an amendment to the conditional use permit for Columbus Industrial Park to allow an extension of the development timeline for a phased development of 7 buildings for lease to other companies in the light industrial zoning district. Members of the public interested in attending in person, monitoring the meetings, or wanting more information should contact the city offices at 651-464-3120 or visit the city website at columbusmn.us. The hearing shall continue until all evidence and testimony has been received.
Thank you, Eleanor. And I have to ask, I didn't have my pen handy. What was your name again, please?
John Sawyer.
John Sawyer, thank you. Okay, John, for the record, we have reviewed your application and as normal protocol for the record, could you brief us a little bit about your application and your plans?
Sure. We originally started this back in 2023 And this is a small parcel of land over there on West Freeway Drive, just south of the Cat dealership. We've got plans to put up 7 small warehouses that we lease out to small contractors, small businesses, machine shops, things like that. We currently have 2 buildings constructed. We plan on working on the 3rd one early next year, hopefully the 4th one, but the demand's just been a little bit softer for these buildings, so we're looking for a little bit of an extension on that CUP.
And for the record, did you receive a copy of the report developed by our city's associate planner, Eleanor Hahn?
I did.
Dated December 17th, 2025, regarding this application, and in the report notes certain recommendations numbering 1 through 5. She also notes some conditions numbering 1 through 25. Do you understand these recommendations and conditions, and do you have any questions or comments about those?
I do understand them. I don't have any comments or questions.
All right. Okay, at this point, commissioners, you have questions that you would like to ask? Now would be the time.
I do not.
I have no questions.
I just had one question. This is Andy. So you guys are just the general contractor for this? Because I looked in here and it said cannabis businesses, so I was just, didn't know if these guys are just like the general contractors for putting up these buildings, or if they're like an actual business wanting like a cannabis store.
No, I'm the owner of the property and the GC putting up the buildings. The question of who's going to be subleasing these buildings from us, that's still open.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so if you wanted to speak a little bit about that additional condition, so this came forward initially just to extend the development timeline to allow a little bit more leeway for getting this development completed. This CUP allows zoning reviews to be done administratively for those who come in to lease these buildings. So each person who come in, each tenant wouldn't have to get their own individual CUP to open their shop in the buildings. After we gave this CUP, we also did our cannabis ordinance, which added cannabis businesses to this district, and therefore the list of tenants allowed uses for this development. So the other edit to these conditions would be to add some sort of limitation on cannabis business tenants coming into this development in the future. The recommendation is to, if a cannabis cultivator wanted to move into one of these buildings, unlike a different type of business that is a little bit less impactful, they would require their own individual CUP as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I had a question for you, and that is, I know the economy's tough right now, and I know it's tough on you. I understand that. Are you going to come to us sooner next time before your time is almost all the way up?
Yeah, that's a mistake on my part. I was under the understanding that we had another year until 2026, but it turns out that's for Rice Creek, separate from you guys, so I apologize for that. I thought they were both kind of concurrent timelines, but it turns out that's not the case.
Okay.
It wasn't until Eleanor brought it to my attention that I said, oh yeah, we need to do something about this.
It is a big ask to get an additional couple of years on there.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think it's reasonable, given the economic conditions and everything. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
No, sir.
Do you have any prospective tenants already lined up for any of these buildings, or?
We have one in there already. We have, for the second building that we already have completed, we have several people that are sort of, as the broker likes to call it, circling, but they're just waiting to see what happens. I'm not sure what they're looking to see or not see happen, but they're just kind of in a wait and see right now, and I think everybody understands what that means.
Well, potentially you get a couple of these built in the next year, you might have a couple of tenants. Mm-hmm. Okay.
What we typically do is we'll put one up, get it rented, and once we have a mortgage against that, we'll have funds to build the next one. And we had expected that we'd put one up, rent it right away, and it would keep going, but it's just been a little bit harder than we anticipated.
Makes sense.
Okay, and at this point, I would like to ask anyone who has an interest in this application or discussion, wants to present testimony as evidence on this issue, please acknowledge yourself by stating your full name and address, and sir, you can be seated again.
Thank you.
Hearing nobody here, anybody online? Do we have anybody online, Eleanor? We do, good. Okay. And we will, since we have nothing from the public, we will close the public hearing. And we'll open up the planning commission to ourselves to discuss this. I think it's pretty straightforward.
I would agree.
I mean, I don't think we need to leave this guy hang out to dry.
No.
Agreed.
Okay, then I'd be looking for a motion then.
This is Kim. I would like to make a motion to continue discussion of the Brown Beagle CUP amendment to the next Planning Commission meeting on January 7th, 2026.
This is Mike, second.
Okay, having a second, we'll take a vote.
Kim, I.
Mike, aye.
Andy, aye.
Rob and I. Okay, we'll move that on to a couple of weeks from now. The wrong one away. Okay, and now, there it is. Eleanor, would you like to read the notice published? You have to read that again? Nope.
Second time,
All right.
unless you
Okay.
want to hear me do it again.
Okay. Ms. McClure, could you, and I believe it's Ron, is that correct?
Rob?
Rob?
Yep.
You could both come forward, we'd appreciate that. Okay, if I could have you state your names and addresses real quick for us, please.
Yeah, Gretchen McClure in Columbus, Minnesota.
Yes, and I'm Rob Olson. I'm her father. I'm an attorney. Please don't hold that against me.
All right. Okay, we have heard your explanation of your application and your plans. Some more questions have come up, at least for me anyway, that I would like to discuss. Notes. You had mentioned in your report that you had looked at the idea of an easement for the septic system instead of a variance in the land. You had said in your personal report to us that your lawyer, I'm assuming your father, has said that this is a possibility. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, the thought was that you could potentially do an easement, that might affect the saleability, but that creates problems potentially with the new owner if the person buys the property and let's say you have to do repairs to it, and sometimes people don't like you coming across what they think is that property line. So the idea was, so we had it looked at and made sure that it was compliant, that it had the 3-foot separation of soils and everything. So it's a fully functioning subsurface or septic system. So the idea was just have a variance just for that little bit there that would go around it, and then bring it back further enough that you'd still get essentially a rectangle that was about, most of it was 220 feet wide except for the first, I think, 75 feet or so.
Yeah.
So.
Not a big fan of variances simply because everybody has a circumstance that, mine is different, this is different. I understand that your neighborhood, you're absolutely right, your neighborhood is full of lots that are not consistent as is the rest of the city. So my concern becomes not necessarily about you fitting into your neighborhood, but doing this and it affecting the rest of the city. In that other people are going to come forward, because you have a normal sized lot compared to your neighbors. You got a 10-acre lot or
Almost 14.
almost 14 acres, yeah. So you have a large lot compared to all of your neighbors. So I have to take that into consideration when I'm thinking about this is, how is this going to affect the rest of the city? My question to you is, and I just want a simple, honest answer to this, and that is, you think that your possible problems down the road with doing a easement outweighs the rest of the city's possible having to do tons of more of these?
Well,
I guess I would counter that there's not very many lots in Columbus, and the lots, my lot size, to create another buildable acreage for somebody to use. I guess my first thought is how many lots are left in Columbus that are actually buildable, that people are continually dividing, that aren't a developer, like the huge development that just got put in up on Broadway. Would be like a private residence for someone, not a huge, builder corporation like was just put up.
Also when you, Mr. Wood, when you look at the comprehensive plan, because, I went right down and looked through the, all the documents, and the comprehensive plan says what are the land use goals, and, it talks about is it consistent with the purpose intent of the zoning ordinance, and part of it says right in the zoning ordinance that it promotes lot splits, actually, continued, I don't know, if saturation or whatever, expansion of the number of residents in the community. So and when you look at it where it is, and when you first looked at the county's map and you said, boy, there were a lot of cookie cutter maps, lots out here, cut out of the middle, U-shape going around it. And we looked at that as a possibility where you could have come in 165 feet, going all the way down, going across the back, come back down with essentially a U and leave her home in the middle, which would on a literal sense, meet the requirements of the planning code, but that would be less than desirable, because then you'd have these potential boundary disputes there. So I think this isn't unique, but she has it's a very clean and a very, what I would call pretty minor variance. It wasn't created just by economic considerations. The idea is, yeah, you could either do it as an easement, or you could somehow have to move it, but that wouldn't seem to make sense, because, Columbus only has so much high land, so you want to use the high land that you can. We think that when you look there, and if you started to move this, then you're going to have more of a mound so you can maintain that 3-foot separation. So I think it's consistent with everything when I looked at that comp plan, because, people don't ever read these things. They're like insurance policies, until you actually have to, do it. You have an insurance claim, you read your insurance policy, and same here. So I think it is consistent, and I'm not trying to, I'm not just saying that as an attorney, but I think when you look at it, I think that Mr. Kupcho from Widseth came up with a nice, clean way to resolve it. And we had that discussion about what do we try to do there, and the idea that it would get the variance and not have the issue, because I will tell you as an attorney, one thing I do know, people like to fight about boundary lines. It's amazing. Run my kid over and I can sue you and get money. But damn it, you step 10 feet on my property and I'm gonna, Well, you know, you're a planning commission. People are
My land,
crazy
get
about
Yes,
property.
I understand. I understand
Okay,
that.
so that I'll-
Yeah. Mike, one of my concerns is that that mound appears to sit on almost entirely on what would be the other lot. Is that correct? By the way I'm looking at this.
A decent portion of it, decent portion. You know, I think I'd have to look here at the mound septic. Yeah, and where it comes out from the house there, I can't really say,
Yeah.
How much of it?
It's just from what I see.
but probably the majority of it, that's correct. That's
Which is,
correct.
again, like I said, I like the idea of an easement more than I like the idea of a variance. I would like to put one additional item into the record. And that is, I would like there to be something that says that no fence can be constructed between the road and a certain distance past the septic. Just because I think if we leave it open, it will appease the look of the 220 feet and 220 feet. But if we fence that off, now suddenly you have this weird shaped property that is going to show.
I don't want a fence.
So I would like that condition added into there, Eleanor.
Of course, I'll go over where that condition is best suited on the plat or the variance, or where we can add that with legal. So I'm not entirely sure in what legal document that will be added, but we can look into that.
Okay. Do we have to have another meeting because of that condition being added?
No.
No, we do not. Okay.
I can tell you that it wouldn't be objected to, and I had the same thought. I thought that when people drive by, they're going to think, oh, that's that house, you know. Nobody's going to, it's because there's a tree line here, so it naturally is going to look like that's her lot, that's whoever the new owner's lot would be.
Okay. Okay, I guess at this time I'm looking for a motion.
I have one more.
Oh, Andy, I'm sorry.
I have one more question potentially. So say variance gets shot down an easement. Your septic is what, 27 years old, so 30 years is probably a lifespan of a septic system. If you have to move it, it looks like you have to move it to the right of your house or to the east side of
Or maybe behind it, yeah.
your property. It looks like the soil test area would be on the east side of your property, correct?
That was one of the soil test areas, but she could maybe even in her backyard, because just for practicality of the move of the affluent, so.
Potentially, if, say, it fails in the next couple of years, you got to put in a new one, would you be open to bringing that parcel of land back to the other owner? So then it looks like a normal lot straight up and down, if you have to move your septic.
I don't know if could you do that? You'd have to change the legal description of the lot, get it resurveyed and do everything.
Yeah, so you would have to essentially completely redo the plat.
Okay.
We have an option for a lot line adjustment to add small sections like that, but it still requires the legal description be changed and everything. So
Okay.
for that proposal to do that would be complicated.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
It's
just wondering,
possible, though.
this it's 100 by 55 feet or something, so it's 500 square feet roughly.
Yes, and so to add it to the other side, it would, no, yeah,
Okay. I'm
sorry.
just questioning that part of that to make it look like a more
Fine.
rectangle lot per se.
But it's not, you said 100 by 55.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a lot smaller. It's like,
75, if you
it's-
look at the,
Okay, well, that's what
Yeah.
the wetland buffer easement thing we have on here says is 100 by 55
okay.
is
Yeah,
approximately that
I think,
number.
Yeah.
That's what I was going off by 100 feet long by 55 feet wide. That's all.
We will tell you, as Smiley says, it looks like it's a real good one. They've never had a backup. They've never had a problem. And, it's the old, these things can last 50 years and longer, because the modern ones are constructed way better, these mound systems that were made 50 years ago.
Okay, yep, that was just my question.
Yeah.
Commissioners, any other questions?
No, not for me.
Not for me.
All right, at this time, you are free to have a seat again. Okay, now, again, I will say, if anyone who has interest in this application or discussion wants to present testimony as evidence on this issue, please acknowledge themselves by stating their full name and address. Hearing no one, is there anyone online? And no, there is not. That'll close the public hearing at this point. And I'll open the floor to our planning commissioners to discuss amongst ourselves. I don't know.
I think there's options, like an easement, that can be done before a variance. I'm always a little skeptical. You open up the door a little bit, and then all of a sudden everybody wants variances to stuff. And when there's other options available, I'm not sure that the variance should be the first option taken.
Mm-hmm. I would tend to agree with that point. I think there's other options available than immediately doing I would like to. That's just my personal opinion on it. Anything from you?
I just think the situation is different, and I think we have to treat this as a little bit different because of the timeline and everything else. And I think this time, I feel.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with what Kim kind of said, is it's different per se in what we had prior, being that the septic mound was there when she bought the house versus the other occasion that we had. So I think I would kind of lean towards going towards the variance myself, but just because if there's going to be no fence, I drove by it, like he said, you wouldn't really notice at all, especially if there's no fence there. And potentially if that mound fails, you wouldn't even see a mound there anymore.
Yeah.
Can I ask the applicants a question? Is it too late?
Ask away.
Ask away.
Have you talked to your neighbor? Are they okay with it?
Yes.
If somebody was to build a house on that lot, they would be okay with that?
Yeah, the neighbors were inquiring when it was gonna be for sale. I think one of them across the street had thought about
Moving.
Purchasing it as well.
And I will state, the couple just to the west, older couple.
Yes.
They're really sweet, nice couple. They're very supportive of it, am I correct, Gretchen?
Yeah, I think, well, he hasn't said anything against it. Oh, okay, I don't think they're planning on staying too much longer at their place.
Okay, thank you.
Just know I'm not a big baddie on this.
Yeah, the people across the street, they're the ones that inquired, and he's, I believe, isn't he a St. Paul police officer? So it's a friendly neighborhood because they have little kids too, so it's nice. And they, I don't know if they're just kicking the tires or not, but they might consider it.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else to add?
No.
Okay, then I'll look for a motion.
This is Kim. I would like to make a motion to recommend approval of the McClure Acres preliminary plat and variance.
Andy, I second that motion.
And we'll take a vote.
Kim, I.
Mike opposed?
Andy, aye.
Robin opposed.
Okay.
We have a hung,
We have a tie.
Fails?
I vote fails. Okay. We would like you to see, to get a variance. We just think that one leads to many, and to have to defend everyone or work with everyone seems a monumental task when all it takes is a variance. Even do a lease. Do a lease of that land for 20 years. That septic most likely will go before that lease will. And it can be, $1 a year. Lease.
Just for procedural awareness, what we could do here is recommend denial of the variance,
Okay?
but allow the preliminary plat to go through with the condition of changing that to look like an easement. And that would be your recommendation, is denial of the variance and change the preliminary plat to have that easement.
Okay. Okay, so that is what we are going to do then. It is, at this time, is denied.
Recommend. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, yes, so I would like a motion to recommend denial of the variance and then approval of the preliminary plat upon the changes discussed, is the motion that I'm looking for the record.
I'd like to make a motion. Yes.
Sure. I'll make a motion to deny
Similar.
the McClure Acres preliminary plat and variance, and to recommend approval of Eleanor, can you say that again?
Preliminary plat.
And recommend approval of a preliminary plat.
Yes, sure.
Is Robin, I'll second.
And you can still vote, however. Sorry.
Kim, I?
Mike, aye.
Andy, aye.
Robin, aye. So then this will move on.
That didn't work.
At this point, we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, and that is the Planning Commissioner's report. And I have nothing to report. I'm sorry to see that Dean is not here today.
I know.
That's kind of a bummer. Otherwise, my report is that I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I probably won't see any of you until next year. And
It seems strange to say.
yeah, but that is my report. Eleanor, have you got anything that you wish to add at this time?
Well, congratulations on getting through 2025, and I wish you a Happy New Year. Our next meeting will be on January 7th, where we will have, I know that there is another potential planning commissioner coming on in the new year. That first meeting will also have the appointments and recommendations of appointments for the chair and vice chair for this body. And I wish you all Happy New Year.
Thank you, Eleanor.
And Mr. Chair, if I may, I have the
You
floor.
certainly may, Scott.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, I believe this is our last meeting for the year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so next year, depending on the rotation, I may not see you for a few months, but it's been a pleasure the last few months sitting here and observing what you're doing. And I want to reiterate Ron's comments. I appreciate everything you're doing and volunteering here. And it's been a pleasure to sit in the left seat. There hasn't been a lot of controversy, which is good. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion.
This is Mike. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
This is Kim, I'll second.
We will take a vote.
Kim, I?
Mike, aye.
Andy, aye.
Rob and I. We are adjourned, and it is 6:32.